every time I really try to record a video for this channel, I keep getting called away every single time. As y'all know, I was gone because I was ill. I came back, I'm perfectly good. Then I started to get job after gig after meeting and having to go all over the place. And it's been really annoying not to be able to do a video for this channel. And I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's really annoying because I actually do love this channel. I actually enjoy this content. The thing is that it's been very hard. It's been very difficult. And it felt like I was climbing up a mountain to get back to this channel. And I finally get healthy and I'm ready to come back, and then work, meeting. And don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing, but it does suck because I cannot give y'all the content that I want to do. I haven't even been able to play Gundam Breaker 4 for the longest time because I've been so busy. But in November, that should be changing. But right now I have a small gap to do a couple of videos. So what I decided to do, because I've been thinking about doing this video for the longest time, the one thing I always try to do on this channel is be transparent. That's very important to me. And this video was actually inspired by a comment asking me about Witch for Mercury. But what I decided to do is I wanted to go ahead and let y'all know about kind of my history with watching Gundam. That's the best way I could say it for now off the top of the dome. So this video is kind of going into my Gundam history to give you a little bit of transparency. So what I'm going to do here is I'm on one of my favorite websites, MAHQ, and I'm going to go down the list of Gundam shows and movies and let you know about if I watched them, if I didn't, a little bit about what I remember from them, and how far I got into them. Because some Gundam series I never finished, some Gundam series I never saw, and a lot of Gundam series I actually did watch. So I decided to do this so when you do ask me or talk to me about Gundam, you know where I stand, at least when it comes to the television side. You know, not really the side story. I'm not going to talk about that today. But at least you know where I stand. And then in the comment section, if people have questions that I can answer, y'all will be there to answer them yourself. So let's go ahead and let me let you know about my history in watching Gundam. That's what we'll call it. So I was thinking about doing this movie in the order I watched it, but I decided not to do that. And just go down this entire list. And I will tell you what I watched, what I didn't watch, and what I think about it. Now, in this one, I'm probably not going to use too many video clips because the first time I got a video banned was because I was talking kind of negative about a Gundam series that I didn't like. So because of that, and just so this video doesn't get banned and I got to re-edit again, I'm just going to show you pictures to be safe. Now again, this is just a quick overview. This is not a detail. This is not a review. This is just me telling you real quickly, because this is a quick video about all the Gundam series that I watch and just giving you my history on them. So you see the list, and we're going to go down it in order that is on MAHQ. So let's go ahead and check it out. Starting with Mobile Suit Gundam. So Mobile Suit Gundam, if you don't know, is the Gundam series that started everything with Gundam. Again, this is not a history of Gundam. This is just my history with watching the show. And the thing about Gundam is I never finished the original Gundam series. I did watch it. This is probably the one Gundam series I have watched over and over and over again. And I can never complete it because honestly, for me, it's just too old. I tried watching it as a kid. I tried watching it as an adult. And you got to understand, when you go from watching more modern Gundam series to going back to watching Gundam series in the 1970s, 1980s, it can be kind of difficult. So with Gundam, I have skipped ahead, but the place where I would always stop watching it consistently is where Amuro leaves White Base or when he comes back. It's always around that time. It's when I usually stop. So I try watching Gundam all the time, but the animation is just too old for me. So I can never get through it. But I have skipped around and watched certain episodes too. So like the one where, I should have said this in the beginning, there will be spoilers in this video. But I have watched the episode where Lala basically winds up getting killed. I watched that episode. And I also watched the episode where Amuro first meets her. Like, I watched those episodes. But yeah, consistently, it's always around that time. After that, I usually just skip around each episode. It's just the animation is too old for me. So I know some people may be like, oh, how are you going to skip around? That's the OG. But hey, I care about animation and I just can't get through it. Zeta Gundam. So with Zeta Gundam, I've only watched the first 2 episodes. That's it. And it's just because, well, I think I said it in an earlier video, I did want to watch. I do need to watch it. I just never got around to it. And at the time when I was really in my Gundam bag, I was really watching it heavily, Zeta was one of the series that wasn't really translated at the time I wanted to watch it. So I never really got around to watching it. And when I did, I started watching other series and I always kind of like fell off. Now, it's not that I didn't want to watch it. I just never took the time to watch it. And also, I heard that series was really dark and depressing. I'm like, ah. And I was kind of in one of those moments in my life where like, I don't really need any more depressing stuff going on. So I wound up skipping it and just going straight into Double Zeta Gundam. Double Zeta Gundam, I actually, let's just say a friend let me watch Double Zeta Gundam. When it comes to, I don't know how y'all like to say it. I like to call it Gundam Double Zeta. Some people want to call it Gundam ZZ or Gundam Double Z. But that's just how I like to call it, Gundam Double Zeta. So this series, I actually started watching it. It was actually a pretty comical series. I never finished it because when I started watching this series, I think that was right before I was going back to school. So I watched it during the summer and I got all the way to, I want to say it was a desert with, I'm going to butcher this name, with Pel 2, I want to say. That's what I remember the most. It's a little foggy, but yeah, I remember they were in a desert. I remember Pel 2. I'm probably butchering her name. And before any of y'all say anything in the comments, yes, I know it wasn't her. Hey, what do you expect? It's been, what, almost 10 years since I've watched that series. So, of course, I'm going to forget like 1 or 2 or a lot of things, to be honest. And yes, I do know who it is, but I'm not going to tell you. The reason being is for 2 reasons. 1, I'm trying to build a community. And 2, I'm trying to build interest. So, either look it up, or what makes this community great, there's going to be somebody in the comments that's going to be able to have an answer for you. But that was the episode I remember stopping at. So, and yeah, I never went further. So I never really finished that one. But I did watch it and I always wanted to finish it, but I just never got around to it. Mobile Suit Gundam, Char's Counterattack. This is probably one of my favorite Gundam movies I've ever watched. Actually, one of my favorite anime movies of all time. I freaking love Char's Counterattack. I watched it plenty of times. Now, I haven't watched this movie in years, but this is one of the few Gundam series, or I should say movie, that I've actually watched multiple times. Now, I'll be honest with you, a lot I forgot because I haven't watched it in years. The one thing, though, I remember the most about this series is I remember the ending. And I always talk about that. I actually did a video on the 5 scariest Gundams, which I wish I would have done it for this month. But the reason why Char's Counterattack always scared me was at the end when Amuro just like disappeared. And it was like, what happened? Like, it always freaked me out. That ending always freaked me out. Because, like, what does that mean? That's how I always felt. Like, what happened? Like, they didn't blow up. They just became green and faded away, and that always freaked me out. I watched that movie when I was younger, so when I watched that movie and that happened, it freaked me out. But that's one thing I remember from that. I remember that. I remember one messed up ending of a character. But yeah, there's definitely things I remember from this movie. But yeah, I would say the biggest is the ending, because that ending always freaked me out. Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket. I hate this series. I hate this series so much, but not in a bad way. I hate this series because this was not what I expected. When you're coming from... Okay, to explain this, I gotta jump ahead a little bit. But when you're coming from watching the 8th MS team and then 0083, then you go into 0080, it's totally different from what you expect. That's part of the reason why I hated that series, but I do think it is a really, really good series. I think it has one of the best Gundam stories I've ever watched. I'll put it to you like this. If you want to cry, or you want to get people crying, watch this series. This series is pretty deep. It was not what I expected. I hated it because it's not what I wanted from a Gundam series, but it's really good. So I wanted to add this part in here because I really wanted to expand on 0080, and just to let y'all know, like, number one, my hatred of this series does not come from that this series is bad. It comes from the unexpectation of this series. But I will say this was a really great and a very intelligent way to tell a Gundam, even a mech story. This was really good. There might be, but I don't think I can remember another story that was told like this. It was really good, really intelligent. Like, again, it's not my favorite Gundam series, but it is a really good... You know what? To make it easier, when you watch a series or a movie that hits you in your feels, you know it's a good one. And this one definitely hits you in your feels. So, yeah, I actually do recommend this one for a story. You may not get a lot of mech action, but you definitely really get a really good story. It's kind of slow, but it sticks with you. Mobile Suit Gundam F91. I watched this movie. I don't remember it at all. I only watched it once. From what I remember, and I don't remember F91 well at all, the one thing I remember the most from this series is that it felt like a lot of stuff was just jumping around. And you could kind of tell that this series was supposed to be longer. It wasn't supposed to be a movie, but it was. So, yeah. F91... If I remember right, I think it was okay, but I don't really remember that series at all. I really don't. I bought a movie. I don't remember that movie at all. I gotta rewatch it again. But I do like the main mobile suit though. 0083 Stardust Memory. Oh, this is such... It's not my favorite, but this is a really good Gundam series. I definitely recommend you watch Gundam 0083 Stardust Memory. It's really good. It's a really good series. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. It's not my favorite one, but it is up there. It probably is in my top 10 Gundam series of all time. But yes, I like 0083. You should check it out. Highly recommend it. Victory Gundam. This is another series that I watched. I didn't complete, but I didn't complete this for kind of like for a really dumb reason at the time. The reason why I stopped watching Victory Gundam was because I was more of a Victory 2 Gundam fan, and I felt like it was taking too long to get to the Victory 2 Gundam because I just wanted to see that Gundam in action. So I'm like, okay, this is taking too long, and I wound up quitting the series. Literally because of that. I'm sorry to tell y'all, that's literally at that time because the only thing I wanted to see was a Victory 2 Gundam, and I was like, this is taking too long to get to this Gundam. I don't want to watch it, and I turned it off. So I was definitely young when I first started trying to watch this series. But yeah, that's the reason why I stopped watching it. I can't tell you if it was good or not. Actually, I can't tell you from what I watched. It was, put it to you like this. When I was watching it, it was getting somewhere. But I didn't give it a chance because it was taking too long to get to one of my favorite Gundam designs. So yeah, I stopped watching that series for a petty reason. So I don't want to say it's bad, but I should have probably gave it more of a chance than what I did. That's on me. No, I don't blame me. I blame my younger self and immaturity. And even though that was me, it ain't me of today. The 8th MS Team is probably my favorite Gundam series of all time. I love the 8th MS Team, outside of the last episode. But this is absolutely one of my favorite mecha series, one of my favorite Gundam series of all time. Probably number one to me. But that can be challenged. But yeah, once again, I do have to admit, the last episode, I really didn't like it. But I love the 8th MS Team. To me, it's one of the greatest Gundam series of all time. In my opinion, y'all may think differently, but I'm a big fan of 8th MS Team. I love that series. I always enjoy watching it, but yeah, the ending was a letdown, so I'll admit that. But it absolutely is one of my favorite Gundam series of all time. It has one of the best mecha fight scenes of all time. G Savior, thou that shall not be named. I watched G Savior. God. Yeah. Yeah. That was painful. That was painful. Don't ask me anything about. No, I hate G. I'll be honest with you. G Savior was really bad. It was bad. It was bad. 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 Next one on the list. Okay, if I butcher this name, my bad. But Mobile Suit Gundam MS Igloo and Igloo 2, I'm going to put them together because I didn't watch these series at all. I haven't watched any of those two series, so I don't know nothing about them. Can't tell you about them. Don't know if they're good or not. So y'all in the comments gotta let me know, should I watch it? So, because I never watched it. Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. I've watched both. Was the OVA and the actual series. So I watched both of them. And I actually did like Gundam Unicorn. I don't know why I said actually. But no, I did like Gundam Unicorn. It is a good Gundam series. Now, I will say, unless you really know your Gundam lore and you're really heavy into it, there's probably some things that you're going to have to look up. There's still some things I have questions about. But for the most part, Gundam Unicorn is a good series. I actually enjoyed it. And I do recommend it. Here, one of my favorite Gundam series I've ever watched. Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. I love Thunderbolt. Oh, I love that series. This one is one of my favorite series, but they need to finish it. I hate that it's not done. Oh, I want this to be completed. Because the story's not complete. That's probably the reason why it pisses me off. Because I love Thunderbolt. I love Gundam Thunderbolt, but I hate that the series is not finished. Another one that I highly recommend, y'all have to check out. I promise you, you will enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Love Gundam Thunderbolt. Such a good series. But they need to complete it. So come on, hurry up. I want you to complete it. And also has one of my favorite Gundam designs of all time. Mobile Suit Gundam Twilight Access. Yeah, I regret watching it. I don't know. I mean, I was sure there's fans of this series. I wasn't a fan. I definitely didn't like it. I was not happy with watching it. I felt like it wasted my time. I'm sorry to tell y'all. I'm sure there's fans out there that's like, I love Twilight Access. I hated it. I was so annoyed after watching it. I was like, I could have done something better with my life. I'm sorry to tell y'all. Don't even ask me about it because I literally just, Don't get me wrong. It's no G Savior. I mean, compared to G Savior, this is a masterpiece. But I'm not a fan of Twilight Access. I'm sorry. If there's fans out there, hey, y'all can tell me why you think it's good, but I did not like it. Mobile Suit Gundam Narrative. I watched this. It was cool. I mean, it was a cool series. It didn't really stand out to me, but again, it also introduced me to another one of my scariest Gundam that's on my list. But yeah, Narrative was a solid movie. I mean, it was cool. You know, it was definitely cool. I don't really have anything. Again, it's not like #1 Gundam series of all time, but I think it's an enjoyable watch. Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway. It needs more movies. You know, like, it only got the first one. I'll say this much. If it's anything like the manga, well, if it's anything like I read from the original manga, and I'm going to cut it here so we don't take all day. But like I was saying earlier, if it's like the original manga, yeah, it ends, spoiler, it ends in a really jacked up way. Like, it's pretty messed up. But that's all I want to tell you. Not going to tell you anything else. But from the movie itself, standalone, it's honestly, to me, it's kind of whatever. But I also want to give it a chance and let more movies come out. If you're looking for like a real cool Gundam battles, this ain't the one. But yeah, it's definitely okay. I wouldn't say it's a must watch. I would say it needs more movies to flesh it out. And the thing is, it's hard for me to kind of say that, only because this has one of my favorite Gundam designs in the Z Gundam. The only thing is I kind of wish it had the manga paint job, but I think the original paint job was pure white when I looked it up, so it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, it needs more. Like, it needs more movies. It needs to develop. So I'm not going to sit there and say it's bad. I mean, it's not bad, but it definitely needs some fleshing out. It definitely needs a lot more. And you could tell there needs to be more that comes with it. Once you get more and more of the story, I think it's going to pick up and get better. But the movie itself is not bad. Just don't expect some real cool, high-octane Gundam battle. You're not going to get into this one. Mobile Suit Gundam. Oh, God. Nope. I'm just going to put it on the screen again. Haven't watched it. I think I heard some reviews that it's actually pretty good. I did watch the original episode that this is based off of. But yeah, there's not much I could say except, yeah, I mean, I heard good things about it. I just never got around to watching it. Mobile Suit Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. As of recording this video, this was not out yet, so I can't really tell you. Is it good or isn't it? Don't know. It's not out yet. But, I don't know. Like, I gotta tell you if it's gonna be good or not. And again, as I record this video, it's not out, so yeah. And lastly, Mobile Suit Gundam Silver Phantom. Probably not even gonna bother watching this movie because it's in VR, and yeah, I don't care to watch it, so I'm probably gonna skip this one. But if you watch it, let me know how it is. As a recording of this video, that series is not out, so I can't tell you if it's going to be good or not. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm big on the VR thing. I don't think I care for that. So I want to stop this here because I really don't want this video to be over an hour long, which originally it was. So at this point, we got through the entire Universal Century. And you know what? I think I'll leave you with this question. What is your top 3 favorite Gundam series from the Universal Century? That's what I want to know. Only the Universal Century. And if you don't know what that is or what series falls into that, I'll leave a link down below and you can check that out for yourself. Lastly, I just got confirmation by the release of this video, I'm probably going to be getting ready to leave and I'm going to be gone at the end of this month. So I'm trying to put together as much content as I can before I leave. The problem is I keep getting called away because I keep having to work. Like even tomorrow, as I record this video, I got to go do a job. So that's why my posting and my schedule has been erratic. I haven't been able to post much. But hopefully, unless I get more jobs, which is not a bad thing, but I do miss this channel. I do want to come back and do more content for this channel. So, unless I get busy, I should be back to regular posting by the end of November. And that's what I'm hoping to be able to do. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and check for part 2 coming soon.